that apply. So the correct answer is more than one. Okay? So dapat more than one yung pwedeng isa, uh, pwedeng isa lang yung sagot, but of course, pwede ring two or more, or pwedeng lahat sila. Again, so which of the following statements about hematology is incorrect? So anong tamang sagot, class? Is it letter A, in the diagnosis, monitoring, and management of blood cell disorders, test results from other sections of the lab is of little significance? So letter A is incorrect. Okay? Kasi di ba, uh, yung mga other biochemical parameters could be of significant help din, no, in the diagnosis of different blood cell disorders such as leukemia and mga inherited RBC disorders. So letter B, is it incorrect? So the study of platelets and coagulation protein is separate from the scope of hematology. So letter B is also incorrect because uh, hematology is concerned with the study of the blood as a specialized connective tissue. So inaaral natin dito uh, yung functions ng ating mga blood cells as well as the ability of your blood to create a solid blood when injured. Okay? Kapag na-injured yung ating blood vessels. So letter A and letter B are the correct answers for question number 1. So letter C and letter D are all correct. So studying the blood cells in the lab includes counting and recording the appearance of blood cells. So these are correct statements. And then letter D, it studies the concentration, structure, and function of blood cells. So correct statement dito. So again, the correct answer is letter A and letter B for number 1. And then for number 2, all of the following are routinely done in the hematology lab except. So what's the correct answer for this? Anyone? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Sige, go. Mag-unmute lang, hindi ko kasi kayo nakikita.
Dito.
Okay, so the correct answer is letter D. Okay? Kasi detecting presence of organisms in the blood is of course ginagawa natin to sa microbiology laboratory. So letter A, letter B, and letter C are all done in the hematology lab. Right, so number 3, what differentiates blood from other connective tissues? So the correct answer here is, of course, letter A. Okay, so the nature of the supporting medium, because if you can recall, in your histology, di ba pag mga connective tissues natin, ang ground substance natin, di ba, it's solid. Di ba, doon naka-mount or doon naka-suspend yung ating mga cells ng ating connective tissues. But for blood, so the ground substance or the ground matrix is fluid in nature, kaya siya nag-flow. Okay? So for question number 3, the correct answer is letter A. Number 4. So all are characteristics of blood except. Okay? So what's the answer? So lahat daw ito characteristic ng blood maliban sa anong letter?
Okay.
Letter?
E. Specific level.
Okay, so the correct answer, class, is letter E. Okay? Kasi specific gravity should be higher in plasma than in serum because of your fibrinogen. For A, B, C, and D, these are all characteristics of your blood. Question number 5. So this refers to the ranged red blood cell production resulting to red blood cells with abnormal morphology. So what's the correct answer? Letter?
Oh, this letter two is.
So it should be letter B. Okay? So this erythropoiesis. So from the word itself na, di ba? Ayun. So this, di ba, yung DYS meaning abnormality. Erythropoiesis is, of course, red blood cell production. So it deranged red blood cell production resulting to RBCs with abnormal morphologies called their dyserythropoiesis. Right, so question number 6. So which of the following is not normally seen in the peripheral blood? What's the correct answer? Ano daw ang hindi nakikita sa peripheral blood class? Letter? Is it A, plasma cell, B, erythrocyte, C, lymphocyte, D, platelet, or E, polychromatophilic erythrocyte?
Letter E po.
Letter?
Polychromatophilic.
C2 ba? C.
Are you
A
sure,
po.
class? Letter D?
A po ba?
So the correct answer for number 6 is letter A. Plasma cell. Kasi wala kayong makikita ng plasma cell sa peripheral blood. Kapag nakakita kayo niyan sa blood, it indicates plasma cell myeloma. Ang polychromatophilic erythrocyte natin, this is your reticulocyte, di ba? So ang reticulocyte natin, normally, ano siya. So every day, meron tayong mga reticulocyte na nagsisirculate, di ba? Normally, they will just stay in the blood for 1 day, and then, magiging mature erythrocyte na sila. But of course, everyday may napoproduce na red blood cells, di ba? So everyday meron tayong retics sa circulation. So letter E is incorrect. Okay? So kasi meron tayong normal talaga na nagsisirculate na retics. Of course, your B erythrocyte, yan yung nakikita nyo, red blood cell. T lymphocyte is it's a type of lymphocyte, di ba? Sa circulation natin, we have T cells and B cells, majority of which is your T cells. But of course, the morphological differentiation would be very difficult. Platelets, of course, makikita rin sa circulation. So again, correct answer for 6 is letter A, plasma cell. Hindi siya makikita sa circulation. Makikita siya sa bone marrow, saka sa mga lymphoid organs. Question number 7. All of the following are correct regarding red blood cells, except what's the correct answer? Is it letter A, B, C, or D?
A po.
Letter A po.
A po.
Okay, so the correct answer, class, please take note, it's letter A. Bakit letter A ang sagot? So, sabi sa letter A, red blood cells and the erythron are entirely anucleate, which is not true. Red blood cells, yung mature red blood cells natin, they are anucleate, but the red blood cell precursors, called your erythron, diba, they have nucleus. So, mawawala lang ang nucleus after kay orthochromatic normoblast. Question number 8. So, assessment of red blood cell morphology is essential in the diagnosis of which of the following?
A po.
Is it letter A, G6PD deficiency, B, essential thrombocythemia, C, acute leukemia, or D, septicemia?
Letter A po.
Okay, so bakit letter A? Why? Why letter A? Tama, letter A. Pero bakit?
May reticulocytosis po.
Okay, kasi meron tayong expected na ma-observe na poikilocyte, and that is your bile cells, di ba? Or your degmacytes. Essential thrombocythemia, so wala namang morphological abnormality, but the problem here is yung excessive naman, no? Yung ating platelets dito. Essential thrombocythemia, acute leukemia, of course, this white blood cells ang involved dito, and sa septicemia, of course, this is a type of infection. So hindi ito si B, C, and D, hindi involved dyan ang red blood cell. Question number 9. Which of the following is incorrectly matched? Ano kaya?
A.
C.
So the correct answer for number 9 is letter A. Okay? So ban-neutrophils right shift. Kasi sa maturation class, pag sinabi nating right shift, ibig sabihin, there is mas predominant ang mga mature forms over immature. So ang band neutrophil, it's an immature form, so dapat left shift siya. Okay? So band neutrophils, left shift dapat. B, C, and D, they are all correctly matched. So eosinophils are also involved in hypersensitivity reactions. Lymphocytes, we all know that these orchestrate your immune response. And your monocytes, these are inactive or precursors of your macrophages. So question number 10. Which of the following cells does not complete their maturation in the bone marrow?
Lymphocyte.
A po. A po.
Alright, so the correct answer is letter A, because your lymphocytes, di ba? Particularly your T cells, so they complete their maturation in the thymus. While your granulocytes, your neutrophils and AO, so they complete their maturation in the bone marrow together with T cells. Question number 11. Monocytes in the peripheral blood are terminally differentiated.
False po.
Okay, so the correct answer is letter D, false. Kasi, di ba yung mga monocytes natin, they're just in transit sa ating blood circulation because they are migrating to their tissue residence where they will become active macrophages. 12. So which of the following is a normal response to severe bacterial infection? A, leukemia, B, leukemoid reaction, C, leukopenia, or D, leukopoiesis?
Leukemoid reaction.
Okay. So the correct answer for this question is letter B, leukemoid reaction. Ano class ang pinagkaiba ng A at B? Ano pinagkaiba nila? Both A and B will be, will manifest as increased WBC count sa CBC.
Ano
Pero
sila?
anong difference nila?
Ano, sir? Kapag leukemia po, mga blast, pag leukemia reaction, mga mature neutrophils.
Okay. So sa leukemia, makikita mo na mga blast yung or mga immature white blood cells. Okay, ang makikita mo. Pag leukemoid reaction, you will see mature neutrophils with toxic granulation. Leukopenia, this is decreased WBC count, so definitely C is not correct. And then your leukopoiesis is the process by which your white blood cells are being produced. So regardless kung normal or abnormal response. Okay. So question number 13, which of the following is not true regarding white blood cells? What do you think is the answer? Is it letter A, B, C, or D?
Letter A po.
No, the correct answer here is letter A. Bakit? Bakit letter A?
Sa total WBC count po, hindi nade-determine kung type ng WBC nag-i-increase.
Okay. Sa total WBC count, malalaman mo lang na mataas ang WBC count. Pero hindi mo malalaman kung anong causative agent yung nagpo-cause. Kunyari, infection siya. Hindi mo malalaman kasi hindi mo naman nakita kung anong type ng WBC yung involved or yung. Okay? So, letter A is the correct answer here. A is the incorrect statement about white blood cells. Granule content of which of the following white blood cells has the highest affinity for the acid stain?
Eosinophil.
Okay? Nalaman na. So the correct answer is letter
Ako
eosinophils. Because eosinophils from the word itself, eosin, di ba? The acid stain, phil pertaining to its affinity. Okay, so eosinophil. Question number 15. All of the following parameters are included in an automated blood cell counter except alin dito ang hindi kasama sa automated blood cell counter? Is it A, RDW, B, MPV, C, hematocrit, or D, ESR? O, alin class? Anyone?
ESR po.
So, ang hindi kasama dyan ay
ESR.
letter D. Okay, ESR. Kasi ESR, this is for inflammation, di ba? Ang A, B, and C, they're all parameters of RBC. Si RDW and hematocrit, these are RBC parameters. Your letter B, MPV, this is platelet parameter. Okay. So, di ba sa blood cell counter or sa complete blood count, ang mini-measure natin ay yung characteristics, di ba? Yung morphology, saka appear, morphology, saka counts ng ating mga blood cells. So, ESR, it's a separate list. Question number 16, which of the following is not true regarding peripheral blood smear?
Letter A po.
Okay, so the correct answer here is letter A. So, inter-rater variability is minimal. So, yung inter-rater variability or yung variation ng reading ng isang medtech with other medtech, it varies, no? Depende, lalo na kung magkaiba sila ng level of expertise o kaya experience sa pag-perform ng PBS. So, anything that is performed manually, so, the variation is mataas. Question number 17. If the coagulation process is prevented using an anticoagulant, so the strong colored fluid that can be separated from the cellular elements is called the
Plasma.
okay, so that's a plasma. Pag may nagkamali pa dito, ewan ko na lang. Okay? So plasma. Kasi pinigilan mo ang coagulation process. Okay. Select all that applies. A peripheral blood smear can be prepared from, so ano yung mga letters na tama?
B and C.
Okay, so the correct answers are letter B and letter C. Okay, so pwedeng i-DTA whole blood as long as it is collected within 2 to 3 hours. Free-flowing capillary blood. So, pwede din tayong kumuha ng smear. Pwede tayong gumawa ng smear from capillary puncture. Question number 19. So, it's a continuous regulated process of blood cell production that includes cell renewal, proliferation, differentiation, and maturation. What's the correct answer? A, B, C, or D?
Lahat po.
Lahat yan, okay? Kasi
Yun.
lahat yan ay under ng hematopoiesis. Diba? Megakaryopoiesis is production of platelets. Granulopoiesis, your granulocytes. Erythropoiesis, your red blood cells. And lymphopoiesis, your lymphocytes. So question 20. Hypoxia is stimulated stimulates red blood cell production by
A.
A po.
Okay, so letter A, stimulating erythropoietin production in the kidneys. Kasi di ba, it's hypoxia, nadedetect siya ng ating kidneys, and in return, your kidneys would produce EPO to induce or increase the rate of erythropoiesis. Right, so question 21, which of the following is not true regarding mesoblastic phase of fetal hematopoiesis?
Letter A po.
So, si letter A ulit, di ba? Kasi, few weeks pa or 19 ilang days nga yun?
19 days.
It's the first 19 days, di ba? Ayan. Okay, so, question number 22. Which of the following is not true about hematopoietic stem cells?
Letter C.
So, select all that applies. Walin dyan yung mga incorrect about hematopoietic stem cells. A, letter A, tama, incorrect ba siya or correct statement? So, letter A, differentiation is least influenced by growth factors in the microenvironment. So, this is incorrect. So, kasama siya sa tamang sagot natin. Incorrect statement siya kasi, di ba, ang development ng ating hematopoietic stem cells, tatandaan, may influence sila. So, they are greatly influenced by the growth factors provided by the bone marrow microenvironment. So, letter B, they give rise to differentiated blood cells. So, this is correct statement. So, hindi siya kasama sa hinahanap natin. Letter C, capable of self-renewal and do not undergo apoptosis. So, letter C is also incorrect kasi they also undergo apoptosis. Kapag hindi na sila nag-undergo ng apoptosis, malignant na yun. Okay, cancerous na sila. So, the correct answers are letter A and letter C. Okay. Si letter D, this is also a correct statement because they are morphologically unrecognizable. So, you won't be able to differentiate which one will become a red blood cell, which one will become a granulocyte. Yeah, so they're morphologically unrecognizable. The correct answers are A and C. Okay, so 23. The following are correct about hematopoiesis, except alin daw dito ang hindi tama about hematopoiesis?
Letter A po.
Okay, so the predominant blood cells during mesoblastic phase of hematopoiesis are primitive erythroblasts containing hemoglobin F. So letter A is incorrect. Bakit? Power 1. Okay, so hemoglobin kasi diba? So dapat power 1, power 2, and power 3. Ano pa? Meron pa bang incorrect statement dito?
Letter B po.
Letter
E po.
Letter C po ba?
B or D?
D na lang po.
B as in boy or D as in dog?
D na lang
Boy
po.
po.
Boy.
So in adults, blood cell production is confined in the bone marrow. So actually, assuming that this statement, or in this statement, assuming normal ang function, so tama si letter B. Okay, class? So dapat confined lang sa bone marrow ang blood cell production. Okay? with an exception of course yung sa lymphocytes. Okay? Pero generally, this is confined in the bone marrow. But for letter D, in some occasions, the liver and spleen of normal adult may also assume blood cell production. So this one is letter D in dog. So this is incorrect. Okay? Kasi nag-a-assume lang naman ng extramedullary hematopoiesis ng isang patient kapag nagkaroon siya ng problem sa bone marrow.
Sir,
Yes?
hindi po talaga makakonsider yung letter B kasi nga po may nangyayari din pong extramedullary hematopoiesis.
In what case? Or bakit natin ito pwedeng consider si P na tama?
Kasi po parang specific lang po talaga yung sinasabi niya na sa bone marrow lang po magkakaroon ng cell production.
Dito mo na yan.
O bakit hindi pwedeng i-consider si yung mga anong tawag dito? Yung sa lymphocytes, if you're talking about lymphocytes, hindi na kasi sila produced and nagmamature na sila doon. They are not originally produced there, pero doon nila kinocomplete yung kanilang maturation. Nakuha mo yung difference.
Yes po sir, thank you po.
Kasi lahat sila produce sa bone marrow. Ayun. So blood cell production, we're talking about production and not really maturation. Si letter C ko, si letter C pa incorrect siya.
Correct. Correct po.
During fetal development, blood cell production occurs in the yolk sac, liver, and bone marrow concurrently.
Incorrect po.
So this is incorrect also. Kasi diba, dapat sequentially, diba? Pag sinabi kasing concurrently, sabay-sabay nangyayari. So dapat mauna muna si yolk sac, si liver, and then si bone marrow. So the correct answers for question number 23 is letter A, incorrect statement si A, si letter C, incorrect din, and then si letter D, incorrect din siya. So only letter B is correct. Okay. So again, bakit si A, C, and D ang tamang sagot? Kasi ang hinahanap natin ay yung incorrect. The following are correct about hematopoiesis except 24. So developing a hematopoietic cell that is morphologically identifiable as belonging to a specific cell line. Letter D. The correct answer is letter
Precursor cell po, letter
Okay,
D.
so letter D, precursor cell. Kasi pwede na natin ma-identify ang normoblast against sa myeloblast, saka megakaryoblast, ganyan. So uncommitted stem cells in general and the progenitor cells, so they are morphologically unidentifiable. Mahirap sila ma-identify. Question number 25, which of the following is not a feature of hematopoietic stem cell maturation? Alin daw dito ang hindi nangyayari during stem cell maturation? Ang letter A, nangyayari ba siya? Hindi. Appearance of granules in the cytoplasm. Ang granules ay this is true particularly sa granulocyte maturation, di ba? Habang nagmamature pa ang ating mga precursor cells, nawawalan sila ng granules.
Nag-gain po sila.
Nag-gain sila ng granules. Kaya letter A is incorrect. So, ano siya? kasama siya sa hinahanap natin sagot. Letter B, increase in chromatin condensation. So, is this correct or incorrect statement?
Correct po.
Correct,
Correct
po.
po.
Okay, so correct. So, hindi siya kasama. Increase in nuclear indentation.
Correct po.
Correct statement din siya. So, hindi siya kasama sa hinahanap natin. How about letter D? Increase of RNA and ribosomes in the cytoplasm.
Incorrect.
So, this is
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
incorrect. Kasi di ba dapat habang nagmamature ang ating blood cells, nawawala na yung RNA sa ribosome sa cytoplasm. So, the correct answers for question 25 are letter A and letter D. 26. Bone-forming cells of the bone marrow microenvironment.
Osteoblast.
D. Okay, so letter D, osteoblast. Kung maalala nyo sa histology, kapag mga tissue-forming cells, sila yung may blast sa dulo. With an exception, of course, sa mga hematopoietic stem cells natin, pag sinabing blast sa HSCs, sila yung immature. Pero in other tissues, like yung mga like bones, so like yung may blast sa dulo, so that is the forming cells, and yung blast, that is the resorbing or the destroying cells. Correct answer again for question 26 is osteoblast, letter D. Question number 27. So select all that apply. So in a normal adult, red blood cell precursors are seen in bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
So bone marrow lang. Okay? Actually, pwedeng tama rin si letter D. So pwedeng B and D. May sumagot ba sa inyo ng both B and D?
Meron
So,
Meron po, sir.
Kasi ang bone marrow natin is also considered the lymphoid organ, di ba? So nagmamature din kasi dyan ang ating mga B cells. So either B or B and D sa tamang sagot. But definitely, you won't see them in A and C. Kasi the appearance of blood cell precursors in liver and peripheral blood, so they indicate the disease process. Number 28, in blood cell precursors, the nuclear chromatin blank as the cell matures.
A po.
So the correct answer is
Letter A.
letter A.
More clump.
Nagiging more clump siya or more condensed.
Ala, di ko nakita yung lesser.
Ay, alin ang hindi mo nakita?
Hindi po, na-overlook ko po yung less sa letter D.
Kasi.
So question number 29. So during the blast stage, so the cytoplasm appears. So this is all applicable in all blast stages, no? So,
D.
letter?
Dark blue and black
Okay,
granules.
so letter D, dog, no? So dark blue and lax granules. So dark blue because of the high amounts of RNA and ribosomes, and for the granulocytes, so wala pa silang granules to begin with. Number 30, the best source of active bone marrow from an adult would be?
Iliac.
Okay, so that is the iliac crest. Although lahat naman sila na nagpo-produce ng red blood cells, pero usually kinukuha natin ng sample natin for bone marrow examination is from the iliac crest. 31, what growth factor is produced in the kidneys? Ito, nabanggit na natin kanina. Letter
EPO.
Okay, so EPO or erythropoietin. So this is produced by the kidneys, and this can also be given to patients. No? So may mga commercial preparations tayo ng erythropoietin that are given in patients suffering from anemia associated with renal failure. Question number 32. When a patient has severe anemia and the bone marrow is unable to effectively produce red blood cells to meet the increased demand, one of the body's responses is
Letter A.
A. So the correct answer is letter A. Extramedullary hematopoiesis in the liver and spleen. So doon lang mag-assume ng hematopoietic activity ang ating liver and spleen kapag hindi na nagre-respond si bone marrow. But of course, the response of your liver and spleen would be minimal. So it won't be enough to compensate for the loss of your bone marrow's action. Question number 33. A cell has a nucleus to cytoplasm ratio of 4:1. Which of the following statements would describe it?
Letter A. A po.
Okay, so letter A. So most of the cell size is due to its nucleus. Kasi nucleus to cytoplasm, so mas marami yung nucleus. So siya yung 4 parts. 4 parts nucleus, 1 part of cytoplasm. Thirty-four. Red blood cell precursors that are capable of cell division.
Lahat except
Heterogracyte. Yes.
So lahat except
B po.
except letter B. So therefore, the correct answers are letter A, C, and D. Okay? Kasi red blood cell precursors that are capable of cell division. Si rubroblast, siya yung pinaka-young, di ba? Siya yung also known as pronormoblast and proerythroblast. Si rubrocyte, this is your polychromatophilic or polychromatic normoblast. Tama ba? Oh, polychromatic normoblast, and your prorubrocyte is your basophilic normoblast. Si metarubricite, this is your orthochromatic normoblast, or yung tinatawag natin nucleated RBC sa peripheral blood. 35. Which of the following erythrocyte precursors have a cytoplasmic staining similar to that of a polychromatophilic erythrocyte?
Letter D.
Okay, so letter D, kasi siya nga yung ating orthochromatic normoblast. So ortho meaning the same. 36. So hemoglobin is a conjugated globular protein composed of
Letter A and B.
okay, so the correct answers are letter
polypeptide and 4
A and D. So 4 polypeptide chains and 4 amines. So all of the following cause a right shift in oxygen dissociation curve except
A.
pag right shift, ano nangyayari anong nangyayari?
Kabilo pa.
So alin dito mo nagkakos ng, diba sabi, all of the following cause a right shift in the oxygen dissociation curve except, so ang hinahanap natin ay yung mga nagkakos ng left shift. Okay? So alin dito nagkakos ng left shift?
A.
Letter D, letter A. Okay, that's right. How about letter B?
Left shift.
Left shift din. Okay. How about letter C?
Right shift.
Letter C is right shift. How about letter D?
Left right.
Alkalosis is left or right?
Left left.
Left. Okay. So the correct answers for number 37 is or are letter A, letter P, and letter B. Number 38, an enzyme found in the primary eosinophilic granules of neutrophils.
Letter C.
So letter C, myeloperoxidase. Okay? Ang tartrate-resistant acid phosphatase, these are seen in your hairy cells, di ba? In hairy cell leukemia. Alkaline phosphatase, they are also found uh, in your neutrophil granules, but they are not involved in the production of hypochlorous acid. And the NADPH oxidase complex, these are found in your phagocytes. 39. So which of the following analytical principles can differentiate blood cells according to sizes?
B and D.
So according to sizes, so the correct answers are letter D, as in boy, and letter D, as in dog. Okay? Kasi the optical scatter and radio frequency, they are used to differentiate WBC types because they differentiate the cells according to internal complexity. Number 40, red blood cell with irregular spike-like projections over its surface and is associated with a lipid disorder.
C.
A red blood cell with irregular spike-like projections over its surface and is associated with a lipid disorder. So anong tamang sagot? Letter B. Letter B, acanthocyte. Diba? Irregular. Diba, si echinocytes or Burr cells, they are regular spike-like projection. And echinocytes or Burr cells, they are associated with uremia. Si acanthocyte, this is associated with a beta-lipoproteinemia, which is a lipid disorder. Si keratocytes or yung horn cells, they are associated with intravascular hemolysis. Si degmacyte, this is associated with associated disease ni degmacyte? G6PD deficiency. Because your degmacyte, this is also known as your white cell. Number 41, Jobin components of the Portland hemoglobin.
Letter C.
Ziga.
Ziga, di ba? Letter B, zeta, and gamma. So letter C and D. Number 42, carrier protein of ferric iron. Nawala yun. Carrier protein of ferric iron in the blood circulation.
Letter C.
A.
Transferrin.
With letter A, transferrin. Letter B, tau transferrin. Letter C, ferroportin. D, hepcidin. Or E, hepastine.
Transferring po.
Okay, so the correct answer is letter A, transferrin. Yung letter B, yung tau transferrin, saan siya makikita? Have you encountered this before?
Sa CS.
Saan?
CSF po ba?
Okay, sa CSF. Okay, so diba, isa to sa mga markers natin na ang specimen ay CSF, tau transferrin. Ferroportin, ito yung protein na makikita sa enterocytes. Si hepcidin, yung nagre-regulate ng ferroportin. And then si hepastine, siya yung nagko-convert ng ating ferrous iron to ferric iron while in the gastrointestinal tract para mas mabilis siyang transport. So again, the correct answer is letter A, ferric iron in transport of blood. Question number 43, the enzyme required for the formation of hydroxymethylbilane from 4 molecules of porphobilinogen.
C po.
So letter
C.
it's letter C. Okay, so uroporphyrinogen 1. Question 44. Production of the following globin chains are coded in chromosome 16 except
Beta, delta, epsilon,
Epsilon,
gamma.
gamma.
so except for letter B and letter E. So lahat yan kasama except D and E. Okay, kasi si alpha and si zeta yung magkabilang dulo, di ba? That's chromosome 16. And then for chromosome 11, si beta, si epsilon, si delta, si gamma. Question number 45, non-functional hemoglobin variants.
Carbo and met.
D po.
So letter
Carboxymet.
B and letter D. So methemoglobin and carboxyhemoglobin. So hindi sila functional. While your A, C, and E, these are all functional derivatives or variants of your hemoglobin. 46. Flow cytometry, which of the following light scattering pattern would correspond to cell size or volume?
Letter D.
Forward angle.
Okay, so letter D is for forward angle, that's right. Kasi A, B, and C, they are all measures of cells' internal complexity. Number 47, design methemoglobin method, ano yung ginagamit nating pang-measure ng stable pigment?
Spectrophotometer.
Okay, so it's letter E, spectrophotometer. 48. So all are characteristics of a myeloblast except
A po ba, sir?
so lahat daw ito ay characteristic ng myeloblast except
Letter D.
Letter B.
Indentation.
yung letter A ba correct ba to? Characteristic pa to ng myeloblast?
Yes po.
Yes, okay. So hindi siya kasama. So letter B.
No.
Hindi. No, hindi. Okay. Kasi in granulocyte maturation, ang nuclear indentation mag-start sa metamyelocytes. Basophilic cytoplasm is it the characteristic of myeloblast?
Yes po.
Yes. Okay. How about letter D? Abundant primary azurophilic granules in the cytoplasm.
Hindi po.
Hindi. Okay. Although some myeloblasts may have granules already, but they are not abundant. So the abundance of primary azurophilic granules can be observed at the promyelocyte stage. So ang correct answer for 48 is letter B and D. Question number 49. Okay, na-calculate niyo pa ito? For reticulocyte production index of a patient whose hematocrit is 0.30 liters per liter and the retics count is 3.4.
Letter D.
po ba yan, sir? 1.30.
Anong sagot natin? So, paano kino-compute ang reticulocyte production index? So, you compute first for the corrected reticulocyte count by CRC divided by the maturation index. Ano? So, anong maturation index natin for this one?
Opo.
Yan? 2. 2, okay. And then, how do you compute for the CRC?
Percentage of retics multiplied by patient hematocrit over 45.
So, the correct answer is Letter
E.
Letter E, 1.13%. Or 1.13 lang. Walang percent. 1.13 is yung RPI natin. Is it adequate or inadequate erythropoiesis? Ng 1.13 na RPI.
Inadequate po.
Paano ba natin masasabi kapag adequate siya?
More than 3 po.
Pag more than 3. More than 3 pa? 3 nga ba yun? Anyway, so yun. So 1.13. And then question number 15. So the recommended anticoagulant for complete blood count or any of its parameters.
B and D.
Yung may EDTA, no? So either dipotassium or tripotassium EDTA. Kailan lang tayo gumagamit ng heparin sa hima? Kailan? Heparin.
Or tubes lang po.
Or,
Hematocrit tubes.
okay, yung mga capillary tubes natin. And then, of course, your sodium citrate are used for either coagulation or ESR. Right, 51. Which of the following white blood cells is or are increased in severe acute bacterial infection? E. Bali na nag-i-increase daw dyan. With letter A, B, C, or D.
B and D po.
Okay, so the correct answers are B and D. Okay, so polymorphonuclear cell is your mature neutrophil. And of course, kapag severe yung bacterial infection, you will also see a more immature form of your neutrophil, which is the band or stab neutrophil. But the presence of metamyelocyte or even myelocyte, so that would indicate already leukemia, usually chronic myelogenous leukemia. Alright. If a patient with hematocrit of 0.273 liters per liter has a reticulocyte count of 3, so what is the CRC?
Letter E, 1.8%.
So paano siya na-compute? Paano siya
Reticulocyte count po multiply by hematocrit over 45.
Okay. So, ginamit niyo ba yung 0.273 liters per liter as is?
Yes po, sir.
Ganun din din mo po. 0.273 divided by pero may multiply po sa 1.
Yung percentage, sir.
So, dapat kung gagamitin mo kasi yung 0.273 ng as is, so wala kang makukuha sa tamang sagot, no? So, dapat
Yung
i-convert nyo siya into percent, so 27.3, para makuha nyo talaga yung 1.8, which is letter D. So the correct answer here is letter E, 1.8% or 1.82% kung kinalculate mo siya. Right, so 53, which of the following statements about the erythrocyte sedimentation rate is not true? A, B, C, or D?
C po.
Letter C.
Letter C.
Letter C. Okay? So it's a non-specific, no? Insensitive din siya sa screening test for inflammatory processes. Kasi particularly, your ESR won't be able to detect most subclinical inflammatory processes. So in replacement of your ESR, we have your CRP. But A, B, and D, these are all correct about ESR. Right, so 54, so site of heme production in developing red blood cells. Cytoplasm, cytoplasm and mitochondria. Mitochondria, so letter A and letter E. And then 55, stage in the neutrophil development where secondary granules slowly spread throughout the cell until the cytoplasm is more lavender pink than blue.
Letter A.
Is it A? Is it B, C, or D?
Metamelos.
Is it metamyelocyte? C, myelocyte po. C. Itong dinidescribe natin dito, yung the granules slowly spreading throughout the cell until the cytoplasm is more lavender, pink, than blue. So, ito yung tinatawag natin dawn of neutrophilia, di ba? So, this dawn of neutrophilia is seen in letter C, myelocyte. Okay? Ang characteristic kasi natin or pinagkaiba ng myelocyte with metamyelocyte is the nuclear indentation. But the dawn of neutrophilia, it occurs during the myelocytic stage. 56. The following statements about eosinophil are true except alin dito ang hindi totoo or hindi nag-apply sa
D
eosinophils?
po. D po.
Letter?
D.
E.
It's letter D, dog. Okay? Because eosinophilic granules, they stain red-orange, that's right, but they contain alkaline or basic compounds. Kaya nga sila eosinophil, they attract the eosin stain because of the basic compounds in their granules. If 120 white blood cells were counted on 4 large corner squares of the counting chamber using 120 dilution, so anong total WBC count?
Letter A. 6.0.
So paano siya kinompute? So 120 times 20 times 10 divided by 4. So that's 6,000 or 6.0 times 10 to the 9. So letter A. Which of the following is not true about hemoglobin? Letter A po. A, B, C, or D?
A. A.
A and B. Okay, so si letter A pa, 1 gram of hemoglobin carries 2.47 ml of oxygen and 1.34 milligrams of ferrous iron. Is it correct?
Incorrect po.
Incorrect kasi baliktad. So dapat 1.34 ml of oxygen and 2.47 milligrams of ferrous iron. So kasama sa hinahanap natin, letter A. How about letter B? 1 molecule of hemoglobin can reversibly bind 4 molecules of oxygen. So, okay. So tama ba to? Tama pa si letter B. Normally,
Correct po.
letter B is correct, di ba? Kung aalalahanin nyo, yung isang hemoglobin molecule, ilan ang kanyang globin chains? 4, di ba? And each globin chains, meron din tayong 4 na heme. So kada isang heme molecule, it can bind 1 oxygen molecule. So therefore, 1 molecule of hemoglobin can reversibly bind 4 molecules of oxygen. So tama si letter B. Si letter C, tama ba to?
Yes po.
Yes, that's right. No. And letter D, this is also correct. No? Mas mataas ang affinity ng myoglobin for oxygen compared kay hemoglobin because myoglobin, these are found in your skeletal muscles and your skeletal muscles require high amounts of ATP, no? So they need to resort to oxidative phosphorylation. Yung aerobic respiration natin. So the correct answer here is letter A. 59, so the predominant lymphocyte in the peripheral blood, na-mention ko ito kanina.
T-cell po ba?
Your T cell, the T, letter D, okay? Dog. Si letter A, so si letter C, they can also be seen, or they may also be seen in the peripheral blood. But of course, your letter A and letter D, they are morphologically indistinguishable. May differentiate nyo lang sila with the use of flow cytometry. Si natural killer cell, madalang siya, pero makikita mo pa rin sa peripheral blood kasi they are large granular lymphocytes. But of course, your plasma cell, this is a terminal differentiation stage of your B cell at hindi mo sila makikita sa peripheral blood. Pag nakita mo sa peripheral blood ang ating plasma cell, so that indicates disease process. Ayan. Question number 60. Given the following lab results, so which of the following would be the most probable appearance of your red blood cells in the peripheral blood? So, anong correct answer natin?
Letter D po.
Letter?
D.
Ano yun? Microcytic, normochromic, microcytic, hypochromic.
Microcytic hypochromic.
So, bakit naging microcytic hypochromic?
Mababa po yung values ng hemoglobin.
O di rin mababa ang values ng hemoglobin hematocrit pero normocytic. Anong pinaka-reference natin? So you can actually calculate, diba, for MCV and MCHC. So yung MCV natin, so 4.5, mali. So ang MCV natin is your hematocrit divided by your RBC count times 10. So 33 divided by 4.5 times 10. So ang MCV natin ay 73 femtoliters which is below 80. So that's microcytic. Nakuha nyo?
Yes po.
Okay. How about MCHC? Paano natin siya kino-compute? Your MCHC is ano nga ba yun? Hemoglobin divided by hematocrit. So 9.5 divided by 33 times 100. Okay? So 28% lang or 28 grams per deciliter. Eh ang lower reference limit natin is 32, di ba? So hypochromic siya. So doon mo masasabi talaga no, na microcytic hypochromic, not by looking at the RBC hemoglobin hematocrit but by computing for the RBC indices. Nakuha ba kung bakit letter D yung sagot?
Yes, po, sir.
Okay, so you have to compute for the MCV and the MCHC. 61. So refers to numerous platelets adhering to the surface or on the surface of a neutrophil and is commonly observed in EDTA whole blood specimen.
Letter A.
Okay. That is letter
A.
A, satelitosis. For a while lang. Alright, so going back. So satelitosis, ayun yung na-observe natin siya sa mga EDTA whole blood samples. Of course, that's not platelet clumps. Kasi yung platelet clumps, it does not involve your neutrophil. Have you heard of the term rofeocytosis in your HEMA 1 before? Have you heard of this? Or na-encounter nyo na itong term na to? Hello, andyan pa kayo?
Hindi pa po.
Hindi pa po, sir.
Ay, di pa po namin na-encounter, pero nandito po kami.
Okay. So, rofeocytosis class is also known as the nursing phenomenon. Okay, so huwag kakalimutan. Ang rofeocytosis, so this is the process, it's a type of pinocytosis. Alam niyo yung pinocytosis? Di ba may phagocytosis tayo? Meron ding pinocytosis. Ano yung pinocytosis class?
Cell drinking.
Okay, so para siyang cell drinking, no? So in rofeocytosis or nursing phenomenon, so this is the process by which your developing red blood cells acquire iron from bone marrow macrophages. Kasi di ba, during the sequestration of iron from hemoglobin catabolism, di ba pag na-degrade na yung ating hemoglobin, so maghihiwalay si porphyrin, baka si iron, tapos yung iron, kukunin siya ng mga macrophages, tapos si protoporphyrin, siya na yung magiging bilirubin. So yung mga macrophages na may iron, so babalik siya sa bone marrow. So yung iron na dala niya, so para siya magpapadede ngayon ng mga developing red blood cells. So kaya siya tinawag na nursing phenomenon or technically rofeocytosis. Nakuha ba?
So it means sir na macrophage po yung involved dyan.
Parang kumbaga, yung nagpapadede ay yung macrophage, tapos yung mga baby ay yung mga developing red blood cells. Nakuha?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Number 62. Okay, so insufficient centrifugation time may cause a blank in the hematocrit determination.
Falsely increased.
Okay, so this will be falsely increased kasi hindi siya magsasettle adequately sa bottom ng ating microhematocrit tube or ng capillary tube. 63. If 25 retakes per 1,000 red blood cells were counted, so what is the ridiculous like count?
Letter B.
Letter
Boy po.
B po.
B. Okay, so that's 2.5%. So paano nakuha yung 2.5%? So you just divide 25 by 1,000 and then multiply it by 100. So 64, in case of severe anemia, assuming that the bone marrow function is normal, so what is the expected level of reticulocyte count?
Increased.
So bakit siya increased?
Gumagawa po ng paraan yung bone marrow para masupply yung kulang po ng red blood cell.
Okay, so that is the normal response of the bone marrow dun sa ating increased demand for red blood cells because bumababa nga yung oxygen carrying capacity ng blood. Ngayon, kapag may severe anemia class ang ating patient, tapos within normal range or even decrease ang ating reticulocyte, so that is a bad sign, no? Na ibig sabihin, hindi talaga nagre-respond yung bone marrow. Major basic proteins or granule contents of, so nabanggit na natin to kanina,
Eosinophil.
eosinophils. Okay, that's why they attract the acid stain. 66. Which of the following enzymes is responsible for the conversion of methemoglobin back to functional hemoglobin?
Letter
Letter A. So that's your letter A, your cytochrome B5 reductase, also known as your methemoglobin reductase enzyme. The pyruvate kinase, this is involved in anong metabolic pathway? Pyruvate kinase.
Embden-Meyerhoff.
Okay, so sa Embden-Meyerhoff pathway siya. Your glutathione peroxidase,
Hexose po.
okay, so hexose monophosphate pathway, and of course, similarly, your G6PD enzyme, the hexose monophosphate pathway. Hemoglobin variant that is not measured by the Cyan-Met hemoglobin method.
Letter D.
Letter?
D. Sulfhemoglobin.
Okay, so si letter D, sulfhemoglobin. Si carboxyhemoglobin ba, mamimeasure?
Yes.
Yes, mamimeasure din siya. But after 1 hour. 1 hour after mixing your sample with the reagent. So, yun, ganun siya katagal. Ang mag-perform lang agad or immediately ng Cyan-Met hemoglobin ay yung mga normal hemoglobin variants, isang sinetro. What is the total counting area of the 4 large corner square of one counting chamber? Sa isang
Letter A.
power counting chamber, ilan ang counting chambers mismo?
Dalawa po.
Dalawa. So we're just looking for one. Diba? So ilan siya? So letter C, 4. 4 millimeters square. Right, 69. Select all that applies. So which of the following cells will have a positive reaction in the myeloperoxidase state? Sino daw ang positive reaction sa myeloperoxidase or MPO state?
Letter
B at D po.
So letter,
Second.
sino?
D.
Letter B and letter
D.
E. Okay, so si metamyelocyte and si neutrophil because letter B and D, these are your granulocytes. So si monocyte and lymphocyte, hindi sila magpa-positive for myeloperoxidase. Kaya di ba sa cytochemical staining natin, MPO stain is used to identify metamyelocyte and neutrophil. Si monocyte, medyo pero very weak. Okay, so almost negligible siya. Kaya lagi natandaan, si myeloperoxidase, sa mga granulocytes siya. An immature granulocyte characterized by indented nucleus with no cytoplastic base cilia.
Letter D po.
Letter A, metamyelocyte. All are true about anisotropic pinocytosis except
Letter D.
letter
B po.
Letter D as in dog.
Yes po.
Okay, so letter D, all types of red blood cell inclusions can be observed using right stain. So that's incorrect, no? Kasi, bakit?
Example po
gumamit
yung
ng supervisor.
superplastic.
Okay, so but there are some inclusion bodies kasi na kailangan gumamit tayo ng supervisor stain para ma-observe sila like your Heinz body. Ito lang ba? Letter D lang ba?
Letter A po.
Letter A din. Bakit letter A?
Ano created po ang RBC?
Okay, kasi wala namang nucleus ng red blood cells. The anisotropic keratinocytosis, we're only talking about red blood cells. So definitely you won't see unusual nuclear morphology because to begin with, your red blood cells are anucleated. So letter A and D. 72. Abnormalities in red blood cell size would be reflected in which of the following complete blood count parameters?
B and D po.
So letter
B and D.
So letter B and letter D. Pareha sila. Okay, so RDW, di ba, kapag mataas siya, ibig sabihin, yung sizes ng ating red blood cells ay magkakaiba, nagiging heterogeneous na siya. Kay MCD, dito mo malalaman kung ano yung malalaman natin sa MCD. Yung average na size ng individual red blood cells. Okay. Kumbaga, si letter D, yung dog, si MCD. So, this is individual RBC size. Si letter B, si RDW, yung buong population yung tinitigan natin ng red blood cells. Which of the following conditions are consistent with macrocytosis?
Letter A and B.
Letter A and B.
Yes po, sir.
Si letter A, pag may vitamin B12 deficiency tayo, definitely it would lead to impaired DNA synthesis, which would lead to reduced number of cell division cycles. So, tama si letter A and B. How about letter C and D?
Kasali din. Ayun po sa microcytosis pala.
Kasama din siya. Kasi hindi naman, ang macrocytosis, hindi naman siya, pag sinabi kasi macrocytosis, we're just referring to the cell size, di ba? Hindi naman natin dinidetermine kung pathologic or not. Ang mga macrocytes pwedeng pathologic or pwedeng physiologic. So pag increased rate of erythropoiesis, anong dumadami sa circulation?
C.
Ha?
Reticulocytes po.
Reticulocytes, di ba? So, alam natin yung reticulocytes or your polychromatophilic erythrocytes, they are larger than the mature RBCs. So, magmumukha silang may macrocytosis din, di ba? And then, of course, polychromasia is just reticulocytosis, but you're seeing it under right stain smear. This is polychromasia this is reticulocytosis as well. So the correct answers are actually lahat sila, A, B, C, and D. So they are consistent with macrocytosis. Which of the following poikilocyte does not resemble the others in the selection?
Keratocyte.
Okay,
Keratocyte.
so keratocyte. This is a keratocyte. This is your horn cell. While your Burr cells and echinocytes, these are synonymous, but they have regular spike-like projections on the surface and are usually associated with uremia or uremic frost. And then we have your acanthocyte with irregular spike-like projections associated with beta lipoproteinemia and Sperzel anemia. Which of the following oikilocytes are not due to mutations in genes coding for cytoskeletal and transmembranous proteins of red blood cell membrane?
A and B.
Letter
A po saka B.
Okay, so letter A and letter B. Because letter A and letter B, they are associated with intravascular hemolysis. Okay? So si letter D, yung ovalocyte, pwede rin siya considered yung macrocyte, pero meron tayong tinatawag, di ba, na Southeast Asian ovalocytosis, which is associated with the gene mutation. Meron tayong tinatawag na hereditary elliptocytosis and hereditary spherocytosis. So letter C, D, and E, so ano sila, associated with genetic mutations. The letter A and B ang tamang sagot. 76, anemia may be evident in all of the following complete blood count parameters except So yung anemia daw, evidence sa mga parameters na ito, except anong sagot class? Nakuha ba yung tanong? Anemia may be evident in all of the following CBC parameters except. So ang tanong dito, kapag tinignan mo yung mga results nitong mga parameters na to, alam mo agad na may anemia. Okay, except for alin dito. Letter D po. Letter B.
Distribution rate.
Sa hemoglobin ba, letter A, kapag abnormally low siya, or kapag mababa siya, anemia na ba yun? Si letter A. Kasi hindi naman natin tinitingnan yung wala naman kasi mataas na hemoglobin. So, tinitingnan natin kung normal or mababa. Kapag mababa pa ang hemoglobin, we can say na anemia na yun. Yes po. Definitely, di ba? How about RBC count? Yes. Kapag bumaba ang RBC count, yes din po.
Yes po.
Hematocrit, yes po. Okay, so, kaya di ba, dun kung babalikan natin ang discussion, ang anemia, regardless of the cause, so they manifest as decreased RBC parameters, particularly your RBC count, hemoglobin, and hematocrit. Pero ang hinahanap natin except, si RDW ba, kapag mataas siya, masasabi ba natin may anemia? Pag mataas ng RDW, ano ibig sabihin?
Anisocytosis po.
Okay, so mataas yung degree ng anisocytosis. And usually, anisocytosis is an indication of anemia. Diba? So, tama naman yun. Pero kapag normal ba ang RDW, maro-rule out ba natin ang anemia?
Hindi po.
Hindi, di ba? Kasi may mga normocytic, normochromic tayo na anemia. So definitely, RDW is hindi siya ganun ka-evident. Pwede, pero hindi siya kasing evident in hemoglobin, hematocrit, RBC count. So letter D is, ito yung hinahanap natin, How about reticulocyte count? Kapag mataas ang reticulocyte count, evident ka siya sa anemia or indicative pa siya ng anemia. Anong class? Kapag mataas ang retics, does it indicate anemia?
Yes po.
Yes, definitely. Pero meron ka mga anemia na normal ang reticulocyte count.
Meron po.
Meron din, di ba? Meron nga rin mga anemia na mababa pa ang reticulocyte count. So definitely, retics count, hindi mo ma-determine dyan kung may anemia or not. Pang-differentiate mo lang siya. So therefore, the correct answer for 76 is letter D and letter E. Kasi hindi sila ganun ka-evident. Unlike kay A, B, and C, isang tingin mo lang ay alam mo agad na anemia to. May letter D, letter E, hindi mo masabi. Nakuha nyo kung bakit letter D and E?
Opo, sir.
Hindi ka certain. Walang, parang, hindi mo hindi mo ma-ascertain talaga kung may anemia or not by just looking at RDW and retics count. Unlike this A, B, and C. 77. Conditions that can lead to the development of anemia. Ano daw yung mga conditions dito that causes or that can lead to development of anemia? Ang chronic intravascular hemolysis can lead to anemia ba?
Yes.
Yes. Kasi di ba nasisira prematurely ang red blood cells, kaya anemia. How about cholelithiasis? Do you know what cholelithiasis is? Gallstones, that's right. Ang gallstones ba nagkakos ng anemia?
Yes.
Balikan natin yan. Menorrhagia or menorrhagia.
Yes po.
Opo.
Yes, kasi di ba excessive bleeding, di ba? So, chronic bookworm infection.
Yes
This
po.
Yes, kasi di ba nagkakaroon ng chronic bleeding. So, the A, C, and D all can lead to development of anemia. Sure na tayo dyan. How about letter B, cholelithiasis? Ano ba ang composition ng gallstones natin? Bilirubin. Okay, kaya sa kulay yellow, bilirubin. Pero ano yung substance mismo? Di ba bile? So yung bile, may bilirubin siya. Saan ba nanggagaling ang bilirubin?
Hemolysis.
Hemolyzed blood cells.
Hemolysis, di ba? So therefore, nagkakos pa ng anemia ang cholelithiasis.
Sir, hindi.
Bakit? Manifestation lang po.
Opo. Hindi naman siya yung direct reason eh. Siya lang yung indicator na may nangyari hemolysis.
So ang cholelithiasis class, hindi siya nagkakos ng anemia kasi siya yung result ng anemia. Nakuha nyo?
Yes po.
Nagpo-form ng nagkaka-cholelithiasis or gallstones tayo kapag sobrang daming bilirubin. At dumadami ang bilirubin kapag may hemolysis. Nag-gets nyo yung reason.
Opo. Wala yung mga tanong.
So 78. Okay. So which of the following lab test results is consistent with anemia due to acute blood loss? Alin daw dito sa mga test results consistent with acute blood loss?
Letter B po.
Alin dyan?
Letter C po.
Letter C? Sige, isa-isahin natin. Ano ba ang normal value ng retics natin?
0.5 to 1.5.
0.5 to
1.5.
1.5. So, di ba sabi natin, kapag nagkaroon ng blood loss or kapag nagkaroon ng anemia, ano yung usual response ng ating katawan, ng bone marrow?
Nagpo-produce ng
So, mag-i-increase yung erythropoiesis. So, therefore, an increased erythropoiesis is parang it's manifested by increased reticulocytes. Nakuha nyo? So, dapat more than 1.5 ang retics natin dito. Kaso, ang retics natin mababa pa. May reticulocytopenia ka. So, is it consistent with anemia due to blood loss? Okay. But this one, yung letter A, this is consistent of anemia due to bone marrow failure. So, X na yan. Wala na. Hindi na pwede si A. How about letter B? So, sa diff note natin, ano ba ang normal na na proportion ng neutrophil? Class, anong normal na proportion? Usually nasa 70. And in acute blood loss, nagkakaroon tayo ng transient neutrophilia. So dapat mas mataas sa 70. Eh kaso 45 to. This is neutropenia to. Nakasunod ba?
Yes po.
Okay, so neutropenia to, so definitely letter B, hindi na siya kasama. So A, mali, B, mali. Hemoglobin. Mababa siya. So is it consistent with anemia due to acute blood loss? Yes or no? Ano siya? Consistent siya?
Possible po, sir.
Possible. So this is inconsistent as well. Why? Hindi siya consistent. Tandaan nyo, di ba, in acute anemia due to acute blood loss, so the blood picture is normocytic, normochromic. So magde-decline man ang hemoglobin, hindi ganito kababa. Usually in acute blood loss, hindi talaga bumababa ang hemoglobin. Kasi bumababa lang ang hemoglobin kapag may iron loss na tayo. So letter C is incorrect as well. Siguro kung ang level niya is nasa 12, ayan, 12 or 11.5, so pwede consider. Pero 9, masyado siya mababa. This is consistent with chronic blood loss. Letter D, hematocrit of 0.5 liters per liter, 50% hematocrit. Is it consistent or not? Diyan pa ba kayo?
Not po.
Consistent or not? So again, letter D is not consistent. Why? Tandaan, in anemia due to acute blood loss, ano bang nawawala? RBC mass, di ba? Bakit? Ba't nawawala yung or bumababa yung RBC mass? Kasi nag-i-increase yung plasma para hindi ka magkaroon ng hypovolemic shock. So, madidilute yung red blood cell mass mo. So, pag nag-take ka ng hematocrit, so dapat ang hematocrit mo ay mabababa. Eh, kaso ito normal. So, hindi siya consistent. Okay? So, which leaves us with letter E. MCV of 84 femtoliters. So, this one is consistent. Why? MCV kasi normal. Ibig sabihin, normocytic yung ating blood cells. Diba sabi ko nga kanina, yung ating anemia due to acute blood loss, this is a normocytic normochromic anemia. Yun. Nakuha pa, class?
Sir, ask ko lang po ulit yung sa hemoglobin po.
Yung sa hemoglobin, masyadong mababa kasi ito, 9. So this is consistent with chronic blood loss. Hindi naman kasi porket nag-bleed ka ngayon, massively bleed ka ngayon, mababa ka na rin ang iron mo. Ang nawala sa yung RBC mass, hindi iron.
So, dapat po normochromic.
O normochromic siya, so dapat nasa 12. Kung ang hemoglobin level natin dito ay 12 or 11.5, pwede i-consider na tamang sagot to. Consistent siya with acute blood loss. Pero kasi 9, masyado na siyang mababa. Nakuha. Pag 9 kasi, pag 9, usually pag bumaba yan ng 10, pababa, chronic blood loss na yan. Ibig sabihin, nawawalan ka na ng iron. So again, MCV, 84.7 liters, consistent kasi normal CP. Alright, so 79. So which of the following RBC measurements does not reflect cell size? Alin dyan? Or meron ba dito? Ang hindi nagre-reflect ng cell size? None of these. So the correct answer is none of these. Lahat yan kasi measurements of RBC cell size. RBC indices, RBC histogram, para lang siyang normal distribution curve ng cell size. And then RBC distribution width, ito yung in percent, diba? Supplemental test done in the hematology lab to identify the cause of anemia.
C?
Ano? Letter 1.
C po ba, sir?
Letter A. Letter A, B, C, and D. Tandaan yung class, lahat to supplemental test to identify the cause of anemia. Lahat yan. Pero alin dyan ang ginagawa sa hema lab?
Letter C po ba?
Letter C.
A.
A, bone marrow.
Okay. So letter A, bone marrow as per the examination. Ang letter C kasi, serum ferritin determination, this is done in clinical chemistry. Letter B, direct fecal examination for possible parasitism, so in clinical microscopy. Letter D, direct anti-human globulin test, so this is sa blood bank. Okay. So si bone marrow DNA exam, so that is diba? So 81 reflects iron dominance.
Serum iron.
Serum iron. Seroferritin, ano siya?
Stored form po.
Stored form, okay? How about letter A and letter B? Anong nire-reflect ng A and B? No space. Yung space, yung capacity ng transferrin na nagdala ng ah, so letter A and letter B are the capacity of our body to transport iron. 82. Tissue iron deposits are seen in which of the following conditions?
A, C, and D.
So letter A, C, and
D.
D. Okay. So, chronic lead poisoning, porphyria, and thalassemia major. So lahat dyan naiipon no, yung iron. Ano nga ulit yung gamot na binibigay sa mga thalassemia major patients? Parang siya so deferoxamine. So iron chelating agent. 83. So all are true about functional compartment of iron except
Letter C.
so letter C. Kasi diba, hindi ito nade-detect usually at the early stages. Nade-detect lang siya kapag sa last stage na siya kasi ito na siya symptomatic. 84. The following tests are decreased in iron deficiency anemia except lahat daw yan. So lahat daw ito nagdi-decrease kapag may IDA maliban sa letter E.
A and A.
So letter A and E. Okay? Positively soluble transferrin receptor. So these are receptors from your RBC precursors. So the higher the soluble transferrin receptors, so the more starved your erythron is with iron. The total iron binding capacity has something to do with the capacity or capacity ng transferrin na mag-carry ng iron. So the higher the capacity, the lower the content. 85. Tactoid formation is associated with all of the following except
A.
Letter A po.
letter A. Bakit?
Increase po dapat.
Decrease. Okay, kasi pag decrease ng 2,3 BPG level, so hindi siya na-de-oxygenate. So kumakapit siya sa oxygen. Cycling of red blood cells with hemoglobin S can lead to
All of these.
okay, so all of this. So nagkakaroon tayo ng organ damage as a result of infarction. Yung vaso-occlusive episodes are also painful. And then of course, premature lysis of red blood cells. So all of these. Patients with sickle cell disease tend to have an erroneous hemoglobin measurement using cyanide hemoglobin method because bakit?
Letter D po.
Letter D.
Letter D.
So letter D. Okay? So please take note that your hemoglobin S, they are lysis resistant dun sa ating lysing agent sa Tradkins. Okay. 88. Net electric charge of hemoglobin in citrate agar electrophoresis. Negative. Negative, positive, or neutral?
Negative.
Sa citrate agar electrophoresis class, ano ang pH ng ating buffer?
Acidic.
Acidic, right? Diba? So pag acidic ang environment, so ano ang net electric charge ng mga proteins natin?
Negative.
Negative ba?
Positive.
Positive. Kaya di ba sa serum protein electrophoresis, para maging net negative charge ang ating charge ng mga proteins, nilalagay sila sa alkaline environment. So si cellulose acetate na alkaline electrophoresis, hindi siya negative. Pero pag sa citrate agar, since acidic na siya, so positive ang net electric charge ng ating. Okay, so don't forget, and pag acidic, more positive. Pag alkaline, more negative. Which of the following hemoglobin migrates with hemoglobin C in cellulose acetate electrophoresis?
C and B.
C and D.
Letter?
C and B.
Sino?
Hemoglobin
C
E, hemoglobin O po.
Okay, so that's letter C and letter D. Dog. Okay, kasi diba, sino ba ang kasama ni D and G?
Hemoglobin S.
S.
Hemoglobin S. And then yung hemoglobin F, may separate siya. Nga ba? Right, so 90 red blood cells with pitted pulse ball appearance. Anong type ng thalassemia?
Alpha.
Okay, so that's our alpha thalassemia. Okay? Particularly, anong hemoglobin yung nakikita sa mga red blood cells with pitted pulse ball appearance?
HbF.
Hmm?
F.
Anong type ng hemoglobin ang nasa RBCs with pitted pulse ball appearance?
H.
Hemoglobin H. Okay? So sometimes, kung hindi pitted pulse ball appearance ang description, raspberry appearance. So pitted pulse ball or raspberry appearance. So hemoglobin H, so that is seen in alpha thalassemia. Okay, so 91, which of the following enzymes is involved in thymidine production? Or, anong daw sa mga enzymes na to, in thymidine production is dependent on vitamin B12.
Letter C.
Okay, so that's your letter
Base.
B, methionine synthase, which is responsible for converting your homocysteine to methionine. 92, which of the following lab tests results is not consistent with aplastic anemia? Alin dyan? Simulan natin dito sa letter E. Decreased erythropoiesis, is it consistent with the aplastic anemia? Yes or no? Ano ba nangyayari sa aplastic anemia class? Nagkakaroon ng aplasia doon sa ating bone marrow. So, ibig sabihin, nagsastop ng production. Diba? So, decreased erythropoiesis definitely is consistent with the aplastic anemia. So, hindi siya kasama. How about letter D? Decreased bone marrow cellularity. Is it consistent or not? Consistent din siya. Okay, so hindi siya kasama. Decreased reticulocyte count.
Okay.
Consistent.
Consistent din siya. Decreased MCV.
Volt. Sibit na may
decreased MCV. Ano pa pag decreased MCV?
Decrease po yung cell size.
Okay, decreased yung cell size. So is it, ang tawag dito? No. Is it consistent? No. I guess.
Hindi po.
Bakit hindi?
Pwede po sir, maging normocytic po.
So, letter B is not consistent kasi usually it's normocytic to macrocytic. Okay? Kasi di ba kapag decrease ng reticulocytes natin, it's also an indication na decrease na rin ang what we call the cell division. Okay? So, pwedeng normocytic, pwede na rin macrocytic. But definitely that's not hindi siya decreased MCV. Kasi pag decreased MCV, ibig sabihin, kulang na tayo sa iron, which is not, kasi nga, abundant naman yung iron natin. Okay? So letter B is not consistent. How about letter A? Decreased EPO. Is it consistent? Rin. Kasi dapat, diba, given na ang kidneys ay hindi gumagana ng maayos, so dapat increased yan. So si A and B dapat increased sila. Okay, 93. Select the statement that correctly describes CDA. Alin dyan? Ang letter A ba tama? Does it correctly describe CDA? Group of rare inherited disorders with anemia that usually responds to conventional therapeutic regimen. Correct ba to, itong letter A?
Hindi po.
Hindi siya correct. Kasi diba, ang CDA, it's characterized by refractory anemia. So, ang refractory anemia, class, tandaan nyo, these are anemia that does not respond to conventional therapeutic regimen. How about letter B? It usually does not progress to hematologic malignancies.
Tama po, sir.
So, tama siya, no? Kasi ang MDS, yung myelodysplastic syndrome, ang nagpo-proceed sa malignancy kapag hindi siya naagapan. So, letter B is the correct answer. Letter C and D, they're also incorrect. Kasi sa CDA, erythrocytes or erythrocytic series lang ang affected, while your granulocytes, your monocytes, and lymphocytes are not affected. This is also characterized by hypercellular bone marrow. Kaya, mali si C. 94, which of the following tests will produce a positive result for both CDA type 2 and TNH?
Letter D, ham test.
Letter D, okay? Kaya nga di ba si CDA, tinatawag din siyang, ay CDA type 2 tinatawag din siyang HEMPAS, di ba? Hereditary erythroblastic multinuclearity with positive acidified serum test. Ham test is also known as your Ham's acidified serum test. Yung PNH natin, okay, magka-positive din siya sa Ham's acidified serum test. However, your CDA type 2 will test negative for sucrose hemolysis, while si PNH positive pa rin siya. So, yun. Laboratory findings that are not consistent with microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. Alin dito ang hindi daw consistent with MAHA?
Letter D.
Letter D is, yeah, okay. Pero letter D lang ba? Bakit letter D? Bakit hindi consistent yung letter D? Okay, so dapat increase to kasi diba, ang AST at LD nakikita rin sila sa red blood cells. So therefore, kung may hemolysis, dapat tumataas sila. Ang schistocytes, okay, +3 in the peripheral blood smear, so that is consistent. Kasi nga nagka-fragment yung ating mga red blood cells. Increased RBC or increased PBS polychromasia. Ibig sabihin, maraming retics. So this is also consistent. So therefore, si letter A, ano nga ulit ng ating reference range for reticulocyte count?
0.5 to 1.5.
0.5 to 1.5. So this one, this retics here, this is reticulocytopenia.
Bone marrow failure po, no?
Yes. So dapat, kung nag-i-increase ang polychromasia, dapat mataas to. Kasi di ba, ang polychromasia ay si reticulocytes. Nakuha? So the correct answer here is letter A and letter D. 96. Yan, lapit na. Immune-mediated extravascular hemolysis is caused by which of the following antibody isotypes?
IgG.
So, IgG. Okay? Kasi si IgM, immune-mediated intravascular hemolysis. Si IgA and IgE, they are not known to cause immune-mediated hemolysis. 97. Abnormality in neutrophil morphology associated with gargoylism.
Alder-Riley po.
So that is Alder-Riley anomaly. So gargoylisms, ito yung former na name for mucopolysaccharidosis such as Hurler syndrome, Hunter syndrome, etc. Neutrophilia may be observed in all of the following except
Letter D po.
letter D. Ano sa tingin niyo?
Yung chronic myelogenous leukemia.
A po ba? Actually, 98 is a bit tricky, no? Kasi lahat sila considered na nagkakaroon ng increase in white blood cell count. Okay, so leukoid reaction, CML, infection, they all cause leukocytosis. However, the correct answer here, class, is letter D. Severe and ang key term natin dito is overwhelming. Kasi pag na-overwhelm ang ating supply ng white blood cells, so mauubos din sila. Kaya di ba sa COVID-19, isa sa mga findings is lymphocytopenia. Di ba sabi natin pag viral infection tumataas dapat ang lymphocytes. Pero sa COVID-19 bumabagsak. Bakit? Kasi nauubos na yung lymphocytes natin kaka-respond dun sa viral infection. So na-overwhelm na yung supply natin. So ganun din dito. So pag overwhelming na yung ating bacterial infection, So mataas na yung chance na magkaroon ng neutropenia. Okay, so mauubos, ma-exhaust yung supply mo ng neutrophils. Makuha nyo? Makuha ba, class?
Yes po.
Yes po,
So, yes, bro. Huwag kakalimutan tong key term na to, itong overwhelming. Magkakaroon ka na nito. Then, 99, so cytochemical reagent that may be used to identify blasts of monocytic lineage. Letter E. Okay, so letter E. Kasi ito yung non-specific esterase natin na substrate. Si A and C, these are specific esterases where dito sa specific esterase natin, dito magpa-positive ang mga myeloblast. Okay? Per iodic acid shift, lahat ng may aldehydes, particularly yung mga lymphoblast natin. No? And then benzidine, ginagamit siya na chromogen sa myeloperoxidase. And then lastly, ayan. So given the following cytochemical staining results, what is the most probable cell line involved?
Myeloblast.
So the correct answer is myeloblast. Bakit hindi pwede si mature neutrophil sa kasing promyelocyte? Eh parehas naman silang nasa granulocytic series. Bakit yan?
Because it looks for specific messages, which is for myeloblast.
Tinignan ko. Okay, so again, myeloblast, hindi siya pwede kasi bakit pala hindi pwede si promyelocyte or si neutrophil? Kasi yung ating mga mature na granulocytes, dapat strong yung reaction nila with PAS. Si myeloblast yung weak yung reaction. But of course, your myeloblast, your mature neutrophil and promyelocyte would stain equally strong with myeloperoxidase and SBB, your sugar black. Okay. So that ends my rationalization for our post-lecture exam.